Welcome to our regularly scheduled, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our regularly scheduled commission meeting, October 25th, 2023. The time is now 7:10. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass.
Here.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Here.
Commissioner Kelly,
Present.
Mayor Taylor.
Here. As we stand for our invocation led by Commissioner Bass, followed by our pledge of allegiance.
Our Father who art in heaven, holy is your name. Father, we thank you for the opportunity, oh God, to serve. Father God, we pray, oh God, that everything that we do and say, Father God, be in decency and in order. We pray, oh God, for our community. We pray for our community, for all of our business partners. We give you honor, we give you glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to go into our awards, proclamations, and acknowledgements. And we have quite a few tonight. So we're going to start with a proclamation presented to the Bruce W. Carter Young Marines of Miami-Dade County in honor of Red Ribbon Week. Coming with Commissioner Bass. And on tonight, we have Miss Romina with our young Marines. So this proclamation comes from the city of Opa-locka and says, whereas communities across America have been plagued by numerous problems associated with illicit drug use and those that traffic in them, there is hope in winning the war on drugs, and hope lies in education and drug demand reduction, coupled with the hard work and determination of organizations such as the Young Marines Corp League to foster a healthy, drug-free lifestyle. And whereas governments and community leaders, including the city of Opa-locka, knows that citizen support is one of the most effective tools in the effort to reduce the use of illicit drugs in our community. And the Red Ribbons has been chosen as a symbol commemorating the work of Enrique, thank you, Chief, Camarano, a drug enforcement administrative agent who was murdered in the line of duty and represents the belief that one person can help make the difference. The Red Ribbon Campaign was established by Congress in 1988 to encourage a drug-free lifestyle and involvement in drug prevention reduction efforts. October 23rd through the 31st has been designated National Red Ribbon Week, which encouraged Americans to wear red ribbons to show their support for drug-free environments. So now, therefore, I, John H. Taylor, Mayor of the City of Opa-locka, along with the citizens and my colleagues, Vice Mayor Natasha Irvin, Commissioner Shirlene Bass, Commissioners Joseph Kelly, Commissioner Veronica Williams, do hereby proclaim October 23rd through 31st, 2023 as National Red Ribbon Week. And this is being presented to our young Marines. And I just found this out by Miss Romina, that our chief actually started this chapter in 2009. So shout out to Chief, and I didn't even know that. I did not even know that.
Oh.
Chief. Yeah, Miss Romina. Okay. All right, thank you all. Thank you for your hard work and dedication. So let's give it up for our young Marines for ensuring that we are drug-free in our community. Thank you all. Thank you. All right, our next accommodation will be presented by Vice Mayor Natasha Irvin. To, to our Opa-locka Police Officer, Thomas Donahue. And then followed by that will be the Opa-locka Hurricanes and the Lady Canes of the city of Opa-locka.
That's right.
Okay, this is my first, by the way. Good evening. Whereas the mayor and commission of the city of Opa-locka would like to honor Reserve Officer Thomas Donahue in recognition of his pivotal assistance in keeping Bundy Park drug and alcohol-free during sporting events. Whereas Reserve Officer Thomas Donahue has only been with the City of Opa-locka Police Department since August of 2023 and has already made tremendous impact within Parks and Recreation as assigned officer for Bundy Park during football season. After reports of drug and alcohol use in plain sight of minors and families, Reserve Officer Thomas Donahue rose to the occasion as there has been no sight of any form of use detected on the park since. And whereas Reserve Officer Thomas Donahue lives up to this agency's theme of community policing by building the bridge between the community and police, which will lead to unity. With this welcoming demeanor and respect, he has shown all patrons utilizing the park facility. Aside from protecting and serving, he demonstrates humanity and kindness whenever interacting with youth and elderly within the community. And whereas it requires a keen instinct and certain qualities to build relationship with the community we serve, Reserve Officer Thomas Donahue is undoubtedly living proof of wisdom spoke by Maya Angelou, who reminded us that I've learned that people will forget what you said, but people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Now, therefore, I, Vice Mayor Natasha L. Irvin, along with the citizens of the great city of Opa-locka and my colleagues of the City Commission, Mayor John Taylor Jr., Commissioner Dr. Charlene Bass, Commissioner Joseph L. Kelly, and Commissioner Veronica Williams, do hereby commend Reserve Officer Thomas Donahue for bridging the gap between policing and the community. Sealed this day, the 25th of October, 2023. Thank you.
Right on the side.
All right, next up, our Vice Mayor will also give an accommodation to our Lady Canes and our 14U football team.
12,
Oh,
10, 12, and
10,
14.
12, and 14.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And here they come. Yes. Yes. Champion, Super Bowl champion. We can do it all one time. Where's the 12U, 14U? Bring everybody. Yeah. We're not gonna be here all night.
Vice Mayor has spoken.
Bring everybody.
All right.
This is our 12U. Mhm.
All right.
And our 14U. This is the rich team. This is the rich team. Yeah, come on, 14U. And the lady came. Yeah. Yeah, come on, come this way to me. Come to me. Come to me. She have a bad day.
All right.
Okay, so we have 2 accommodations, one for, you got more people coming up?
Okay, before I read this accommodation, I just want to say one thing really quick. I want to say thank you to the coaches that take out of their personal time to come and do this for free. Thank you to also to the parents that see to it that these kids are in practice at all times. We thank you. Okay. This is for the football team. Whereas, excuse me, whereas the mayor and commission of the city of Opa-locka recognize the growth and accomplishments of Park and Recreation Department's football team, we recall and are inspired by the words of Jesse Owens, who said, "We all have dreams, but in order to make dreams come into reality, it takes an awful lot of determination, dedication, discipline, and effort." And whereas the Opa-locka Hurricanes under 14 football team began the 2023 National Youth Football League Super Bowl champions for the 3rd consecutive year. The 3rd consecutive year. Whereas the Opa-locka Hurricanes under 12 football team became the 2023 National Youth Football League Super Bowl champions for the 4th consecutive year. And whereas the Opa-locka Hurricane under 10 football team became the 2023 National Youth Football League Super Bowl champions, and I'll wait for you all to clap for them. And the entire Opa-locka Hurricane team and staff is worthy of appreciation for their passion, diligence, and teamwork in bringing positive recognition to the city of Opa-locka. Now, therefore, I, Vice Mayor Natasha L. Urban, along with the citizens of the great city of Opa-locka and my colleagues of the City Commissioner, Mayor John H. Taylor Jr., Commissioner Dr. Shirley Bass, Commissioner Joseph L. Kelly, and Commissioner Veronica J. Williams, do hereby commend the Opa-locka Hurricanes for a successful 2023 football season. Accommodations. Whereas the mayor and commission of the city of Opa-locka recognize the growth and accomplishments of the Park and Recreation Department cheerleading teams, we recall and inspire by the words of Simone Biles, who said, "Don't wait until you've reached your goal to be proud of yourself. Be proud of every step you take towards reaching the goal." And whereas the Opa-locka Lady Canes under 14 cheerleading team placed that's an error, first place at the Greater Mommy Pop Warner cheerleader competition. And the Opa-locka Lady Canes under 10 cheerleader team placed first at the 2023 Greater Miami Pop Warner cheerleader competition. And whereas the Opa-locka Lady Canes under 8 cheerleading team placed first at 2023 Greater Miami Pop Warner cheerleader competition. The entire Opa-locka Lady Canes team and staff is worthy of appreciation for their passion, diligence, and teamwork in bringing positive recognition to the city of Opa-locka. Now, therefore, I, Vice Mayor Natasha L. Urban, along with the citizens of the great city of Opa-locka and my colleagues of the City Commission, Mayor John H. Taylor Jr., Commissioner Dr. Shirley Bass, Commissioner Joseph L. Kelly, and Commissioner Veronica J. Williams do hereby commend the Opa-locka Lady Canes for a successful 2023 season.
Okay, but I want to take a point of privilege and give recognition to this person who does not like to be in the front at all. And we don't recognize her a lot. She is actually our parks director. She's the one that ensured that we have programming at our parks. She's the one that helps our children when we're not there. She's the one that helps put this stuff together. And it was her birthday last week. So y'all put your hands together for our parks director, Miss Zonya Ray. Okay, we're gonna get a group picture and we're gonna put y'all out, all right?
Before the mayor took the mic from me, I was going to say that. However, I was going to also add Coach Dakari Griffin, our disciplinarian most of the time. That's my part son. We're gonna work on getting that group picture. Let me give this to the. Coach Mark is like Chris and I, we don't have any children on this team, on these teams, but we volunteer our services to make everything happen for the children. So thank you, Coach Mark, for all you do for us. Oh, we didn't do a picture. Are you okay? Oh. Are you Are you working? When you see her, when you see her, if you don't care. Let me say something. Yeah, don't say. Let me say second picture. Go. I gotta get you too. God, you get between. Get low. Get low. Thank you. On the way out the door.
Yeah. I want to extend the excitement of our kids. Every one of the teams that you have in front of you right now has been advanced to regionals. So they'll be playing games for the next couple of weeks. And during Thanksgiving time, the football team and the cheerleader teams will be in Orlando for regional competition and challenge this year. So I want to thank them for being the kids that they are, and the cheerleaders for being the young ladies that they are, because we can't accomplish anything without them and the parents. And that's what make parks look very good, because these kids could be other places than on a park. They could be on the street, but they chose to be on the park, and academics plays a major role when it comes to our sports component. So thank you again for making Miss Ray look very good for 2023. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ray, and all of our coaches. Shout out to you. Okay, we have one more accommodation. One more accommodation presented by our city manager's office and our chief of police.
So I think that was one of our employees that is walking out the door right now that didn't get her proper acknowledgement as well for what she does for the cheerleading team. And that is, I'd like a round of applause for Miss Angelina Chris Roberts as well, who also doesn't like to be recognized. Yes, this is one of our dedicated employees and school crossing guards. So not only does she give her time to our kids on the clock here at the city of Opa-locka, she then goes out to the park and volunteers her time to continue to support our kids, and also works with our booster club to make sure they got what they need. So we'd be remiss if we didn't give her her proper acknowledgement as well. So we want to thank her. So I'm really, really, really excited about tonight and all the things. Come up, Chief. All the things. This is a proud city manager moment too for opportunity. So we just gave a commendation for Officer Donahue, and he'd been trying to work with the city of Opa-locka for some time now. So I'm really excited that he's come on board. And what people don't know, he's got this commendation as a reservist. So he is giving of his time for free right now, serving the people of Opa-locka, protecting the people of Opa-locka as a reservist. So the phenomenal things he's done is demonstrating what can happen when we give the right person an opportunity. He actually requested a meeting with me, told me his story, how much he wanted to be an officer for the city of Opa-locka, and I decided to extend him that opportunity. He's come on board as a reservist and just done phenomenal things for the city, and we hope can move forward as a permanent officer soon. So thank you, Officer Donahue. Next is as an officer, I want to give another proud city manager moment by reading you a letter that I received. Oftentimes we get a lot of complaints, and that's what we're there to do. We're there to service the complaints and to address the complaints. We get a lot of those, but every now and then we'll get something positive. And I want to read this letter that I received. October 10th, 2023, Darvin Williams, City Manager of the City of Opa-locka. Dear Mr. Williams, I wanted to write you personally to commend Officer Rodney Jean-Baptiste for locating my stolen vehicle in Opa-locka. I had parked my car at the Miami Airport Marriott on Monday, September 25th, while I vacationed in Italy, only to find on my return on Sunday, October 1st, that my car had been stolen. After reporting to the local police and the parking management company, PMSI, and the Marriott Hotel, I was advised that my case was transferred to the Opa-locka Police Department. The Marriott personnel said they reviewed video for 2 days. They saw me enter the parking lot with my vehicle, a Mercedes GLA 250, through the gate, but not leave. After a few days, I was called by Downtown Towing in Miami telling me they had my car. That had been told to them by Officer Rodney Jean-Baptiste, who found the car in the lot. I called Officer Baptiste and he told me he was suspicious, so he ran tags in the lot where my car had been taken to. He believed there was a scam going on as the attendant in the lot told him that it was a AAA tow. I believe the airport Marriott had to be involved as well. How could they not see my vehicle leaving the lot on a tow truck? I questioned. I believe that my car had been already sold for parts. Thanks to the diligence of Officer Batiste, my car was saved and it was towed to the dealership yesterday. I'm having them look it over. However, I saw it this morning and the car looked like I had left it and was still locked. You are very lucky to have this officer working under your jurisdiction. Cops do not get enough recognition for the hard job they have in this crazy world. I also had the pleasure of speaking with Sergeant German GB Bosque, who advised me that he was also on site when my car was discovered. Please commend both of these gentlemen for a job well done. They are awesome, and I consider them angels in my life, although I have never met either of them. They should make your police department proud and deserve recognition. I'm very thankful. My car could have been in parts by now, but thanks to them and the Opa-locka Police Department, it is the car dealership now being looked over safely. Thank you so much. Any recognition that you can give, I would greatly appreciate and wish I could be there. Officer Jean-Baptiste, please come up.
The City of Bright Opportunities Commendation. Whereas the mayor and the commission of the city of Opa-locka joined the Opa-locka Police Department in recognizing Officer Rodney Jean-Baptiste for his outstanding efforts in which he used his experience and training to recover a stolen vehicle. And whereas Officer Rodney Jean-Baptiste's observation of the parked unoccupied vehicle, which appeared suspicious, led him to run a records check and tag to discover that the vehicle was stolen on September 25th, 2023 under a City of Miami case number. And whereas the actions of Officer Rodney Jean-Baptiste are in keeping with the finest traditions of law enforcement professionals and were greatly appreciated by the victim of the stolen vehicle, who thought she had lost her vehicle forever. And whereas Rodney Jean-Baptiste, keen observations and perseverance resulted in the timely resolution of a crime, his steadfast dedication to excellence provides.
His steadfast dedication of excellence provides inspiration to all who have the privilege to serve with him. This part. Now, therefore, I, John H. Taylor, Mayor John H. Taylor Jr., along with the citizens of Opa-locka, my colleagues, the City Commissioner, Vice Mayor Natasha Irvin, Commissioners Dr. Shirlene Bass, Commissioner Joseph Kelly, Commissioner Veronica Williams, do hereby commend Officer Rodney Jean-Baptiste. We thank you for your devotion, dedication, and hard work. You are an important part of our mission. Signed and sealed this 25th day of October, 2023. Great job. Yeah. All right, so shout out to everyone who was recognized on tonight. Thank you for your hard work and your dedication. Thank you to our children, Vice Mayor, always keeping them first. Shout out to you for that. As we're going to go into the approval of our consent agenda, do we have any pulls, deletions, or deferrals from the consent agenda? All right.
I would like to pull number 2. I have a question.
Okay, number 2?
Yep.
All right. Any other pulls, deletions, or deferrals on? All right, can I get a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Baz.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
All right, can I have the approve, we're gonna approve tonight's agenda, I'm sorry. Can I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Move it.
Move-
Tonight's agenda.
Moved by Commissioner, Vice Mayor, second by Commissioner Bass. Madam Clerk?
Madam Mayor, we do have an add-on item.
Okay. Madam Clerk, can you read in the record the add-on item and state the emergency nature of this item?
Yes, this item will be included as 14-1, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing the interim city manager to explore financing options for the replacement of the air conditioner chiller system currently servicing City Hall, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager. And again, this will be included as 14-1.
All right, so can I get a motion to add this to tonight's agenda?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor. Madam Clerk, to vote to add this to the agenda?
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Baz.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
All right, now we're going to the approval of tonight's agenda. It was already moved in second. So can we have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Baz.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
All righty, so approval of minutes, we're moving on. Senator Jones, we're deferring that to next meeting. And we're gonna go into public presentations from our building operations manager, Mr. King, and our Parks and Recs director, Ms. Zanya Ray. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we've been working for quite some time on the beautification plan, and the commission has asked us to present that. So now that we've created this division and appointed King Leonard as the overseer of the beautification and building maintenance division, we thought it'd be appropriate for him to be able to spread his wings and fly on his inaugural presentation before the commission.
Okay,
It's okay.
Mr. Leonard, you have the floor.
It's okay.
Mr. Leonard, you have the floor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. King Leonard, Building Maintenance Operation Manager. This is the City of Opa-locka Beautification Plan. So you gotta excuse me if I stutter a little bit or get nervous.
It's okay.
The overall goal for the beautification plan is to identify and implement projects that will beautify our community, increase desirability of commercial and residential real estate, and encourage residential homeowners and business owners to invest in landscaping and clean up the property. Next slide. The city of Opa-locka will be cleaner and safer, beautiful, vibrant, mature, stable community with will improve infrastructure, a unique urban and historical environment while maximizing value to the community for tax dollars paid. The city image enhancements will appearance and maintenance of all of the city public buildings, landscaping maintenance, landscape maintenance in right-of-ways and public areas, park maintenance, cleanness of streets and neighborhoods, cleaning of streets and businesses in commercial areas, cleanness of canal and waterways, illegal dumping, adopt a road park program, pressure cleaning sidewalks and medians, canal maintenance, and gateway wayfinding and street name signage installation, and tree maintenance. The next slide is the zones of the beautification plan. Number 7, 2, and 6, which is commercial areas. 1, 4, 5, and 3 are residential. Next slide. All right, to kick off the city beautification effort, installing gateway wayfinding, a street signage, would be an effective, relatively easy and inexpensive effort for the city. In addition to the signage plan, the following is a list of recommendations to consider for the implementation of the beautification plan. Develop a street gateway wayfinding and street name signage plan for fabrication and installation of the signage. This can be done in phases to follow the city's budget. Identify upcoming city projects such as road and street cap improvements, park and trail projects. Identify beautification elements that could be incorporated into this project. Identify additional funding opportunities such as economic development grants to assist in implementation efforts of the beautification plan. This slide is pretty much example of the welfare, the signages and the gateways. I think we're still working on trying to improve those. Next, please. And some of the work we're going to be doing in the medians, replanting with flowers and trees, installation of sod, irrigation system repair and installation, removal of bushes and shrubs, removal of non-native trees, installation of pathways with seatings, pet waste receptacles and trash cans in all medians. I want to say we did get the trash cans and pet waste stations, just waiting on the new seals to be delivered so we can put them on all the trash cans before we do all the, and plus make sure we find the right locations where they'll be mostly used instead of putting them somewhere where they're not going to be used. All right, community involvement. 6 led community cleanup events annually, generate interest and enthusiasm and pride. Conduct events at city parks to attract residents to encourage them to take pride in the appearance of their parks and streets and residential commercial properties. Develop a street beautification contest by zone, especially for residential zones, and award best street with a recommendation.
We got you.
Encourage the community groups and organizations to adopt parks and roadways to establish a culture of pride and caring for the appearance of the city. Let's see, create a space on a website, feature residential houses and communities that are taking care of their properties and streets. Create a recycling program with business, residential schools and faith-based organizations with the support of involvement of other municipalities. Annual events to provide residential opportunities to dispose of contaminants such as paint, oil, and other items at no cost. This can be done with the support of Miami-Dade counties and 80 other entities. Next, please. All right, this is the dues. This is the dues of beautification guidelines. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but this is a few of them that really gets to me. Number 2 is mow the lawn on your property and surrounding public right-of-way to an aesthetically pleasing height. This height should not exceed 8 inches to avoid citation. Public works, the public right-of-ways surrounding your property could include swales, areas, and alleyways. Pursuant to the city code section 14.2. The reason why I pulled that one is because every time I do my rounds around the city, you have property owners, even business owners. They'll cut the front of their home. And if they're corner lot, they'll leave the side uncut. You drive it down the street, you see property owners. Don't cut in front of their homes. They're in front of their properties. So, I mean, if everybody's educated and know that it's their responsibility to maintain these in front of their home and swales, I think this city will be much better, much beautiful. And property owners are responsible for trimming overhanging trees and shrubs obstructing the public right of way. Again, we get calls. I got a tree in front of my house, need to be pruned. Okay, you got to prune. It's in front of your home. You're responsible for it. But we need to educate these property owners and business owners that they're responsible for maintaining and for themselves. Some of them don't know that. All right, let's go next slide. Things not to do. Again, I'm not going through the whole thing, but it's just two of them on there that really gets to me. Do not park on city sidewalk, median, swells, and avoid receiving a citation from the police department. 139th, for example, they use that for their parking lot. You go drive the street at night, everybody parks in medians. So we ordered some signs, no parking, so we can start letting the police know the signage out, because the first thing they say, there's no signage out there, King, so we can't do nothing. So we're gonna start putting these signs out there, let them know, can't park in the median. So when you come out your car going, you know where it's at. And remember, it's unlawful for a person to process, breed, or maintain domestic fowl or livestock, chickens, different livestock. You drive down it again, that's all you see them chickens out there. So I know some of you guys in the commission know what I'm talking about. All right, pet waste. Pet waste is left on sidewalk and lawns. It carries into the neighborly canals, lakes, and streams. When it rains, which causes pollution to the water, creates a health hazard. You walk your pets, you got to make sure you pick up after yourself, so that's a neighborly thing to do. And when walking your pet, just take a bag with you. Keep a supply of bags near your dog's leash or near the front door. When at home, you got the long handle pooper scoopers that's available in pet stores to make it easier after to pick up after your pets without bending. Help spread the word. Talk to your family, friends about the stormwater and pollutions, and pick up after your pets. Thanks. This pretty much was talking about the same thing with the pet, with the stormwater and pollution. Stormwater pollution happens when water picks up pollutants, such as pollutants, such as car oil, dog waste, excess fertilizer, herbicide, pesticide on your lawn, cigarette butts. These pollutants go down the nearest catch basin, and it ends in the lakes, rivers, and streams. So we gotta make sure that we, keep our yard clean, pick up after ourselves, the pets, so we can avoid all this. Next, please. This is the city beautification plan schedule. This is the beautification department here on this one. We got to cut the service road on Monday, 18 Ave to 26. Cut and clean Burton Canal. That's a big area, so it's gonna take 2 days. Cut the medians on 139th, and this is the west, I think the west side, that's correct. That's the east or west, that's the west side, right? What's that, east side? What's east side? East side. Cut and clean Opa-locka Boulevard from 27th Avenue and Sheriff's Lot. Week 2, cut all the roundabouts and cut and clean city welcome signs, pressure wash sidewalks, tree pruning, litter picking. This is the beautification building department. Next one, please. You got Shabani Park on Monday, Helen Miller, Ingram Park, Kaboom on Fridays, and park maintenance improvements, fulfill work orders if needed. Park maintenance again, improvement that second week, and then the third week we go back to the same as the first week. Next, please. Again, this is an effort with Public Works, Police Department, and Code. So, this is the street sweeper schedule, where you have week 1, week 2, 3 and 4, these are locations where there'll be street sweeping. Black, please. Next one, please. Now you got the alley maintenance schedule. And remember, everybody thinks that the alleys are done every 2 weeks. They're done once a month. You know, we get calls sometimes, including rainy days. Yeah, grass grows fast, but it's done once a month. So cycle 2, we got 9 through the 17th of each month. Cycle 3, 18th through the 28th of each month. This is cycle, I'm sorry. Cycle 1, I'm sorry, 1 through 8th of each month. So I'm not sure if these are posted on the city website. Not yet, okay, yeah, so we want to make sure that everybody knows their location where each alley is done at which day of each month. Residential solid waste, the customer will enjoy the varieties of waste collection services, including automatic curb garbage collections. This is pretty much done by the county. Residential curb collections, carts must be placed by 7 a.m. On your service day. So I think it's what, Monday and Thursday, and Tuesdays and Friday. So I'm not sure which areas, which Wednesday they don't pick up. We got the bulky trash pickup. Next slide, please. I'm sorry. Got the bulky waste pickup. Again, it's the county. You got their website on there. If you have any questions, you can contact them or call 311, and they'll help you with scheduling your bulky trash pickup. Next slide, please. Same thing with the trash and recycle center. Again, it's the Miami-Dade County. Call 311, and they'll schedule whatever trash you need picked up or any questions you have. Next slide, please. Yeah, these are the flowers that we're choosing to put out on some of the areas to beautify the city. And pretty much, I think it's going to be it. Last slide. It's the beautification plan. Everybody's on there. It's the commission. And I must say that last week we had a serious issue with tires. We removed almost 300, if not even more, tires. 100 behind the Tasha's services. One on Jan, maybe like 150 or maybe 100. And 18th Avenue and Wilmington, another 100, all in 1 week. So we have an epidemic with these illegal dumping tires. And again, like I said, this is a joint effort with a beautification plan with police, code, and public works. So we need to make sure that we get our residents involved, let them know if they see something, say something, etc. That's pretty much it for my
All right.
presentation.
Thank you, Mr. King. Thank you for the presentation. Great presentation. I do have a couple questions.
Okay.
And I'm challenged, and I know maybe this will be directed to the manager. The first one, and I know it's a sore subject with a lot of our residents, is property owners are responsible for trimming all overhanging trees and or shrubs obstructing the right of way. And he alluded to, well, not even alluded to, he said it's on the swells. And I know the issue with our residents is we didn't ask for the trees, so why are you forcing us to maintain them? And I know it's been a lot of residents has come before the commission, specifically from the east side, because the trees are really, really, really tall. And they said it scrapes the top of their roofs and blah, 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 blah. So I'm challenged with that. So
Well, we would love to have some legislation that would authorize the city administration to actually maintain that. Right now, we cannot address that that's actually in our code. But if it be the will of the commission for us to bring legislation,
what's in our code? The maintenance plan is in our code?
no, that the responsibility of that is for the residents.
Okay, so we can discuss that. All right. And can you also provide me with that ordinance, please?
Absolutely.
And the other thing that I'm challenged by is the alleyways. We talked about once a month, and in the rainy season, those alleyways are pretty high.
Yes, I agree.
So high alleyways breeds trash, also breeds vermin, which has also been an area of concern for many of our residents. So is there any way, Mr. Manager, and if you're gonna say we can bring legislation, we can bring it, that certain times of the year during the rainy season, that we up that to 2 weeks?
Absolutely. It just that is actually not maintained by city staff. That's done under contract with a vendor. So we could work with the city attorney's office, it'd be the will of commission to amend that contract and bring it back to the commission for approval.
And last, I am happy to see, because I know we passed this months ago, that the receptacles were ordered and are just waiting for installation. And I would love and can't wait to see those be put up and installed throughout the city.
Yes, first day November.
First day is November. All right, so I'm done with my questions. I yield to my colleagues if they have any concerns or questions for beautification.
I do.
Vice Mayor?
On page 6, you have a picture there. Are we expecting, I see the sidewalk that runs through the trees with the little bench?
Yes.
That's actually coming?
Yes, I'm up there.
Oh, great.
Appeal to Mr. Austin on that one. So,
I just wanted to know if it was coming. That's it. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
and also, I don't know if you've seen some of the areas that we pruned the trees on Opa-locka Boulevard. We
I
lifted them
did.
and we pineappled the palm trees. We did 139th, and the next area is going to be 17th Avenue. And, off of
Thank you.
135th to Circle Code.
Thank you.
That's coming next week.
Thank
And from there, it's gonna be Sherazade, and after that, I think we need to put that in the budget every 2 years to, make sure all the trees are pruned and maintained, and that way we'll keep again, city beautiful.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not finished. One other thing, it's a pet peeve for me as well. You pulled the first one, you said the mow the lawns
Yes.
on your property. That's page 8,
Yes,
and it's the second dot.
yes,
I have a big pet peeve with that because in some cities, once it goes over so many inches,
Mhm.
they send you a warning.
yes.
And once you don't make the correction, in some cases, they will mow it for you and send you a hefty bill.
Again, that's code enforcement. Need to give
Yes.
warning, and then we
To the manager, if we could kind of enforce it and let them see that we're not playing, you're not gonna have these messy yards like without, grass come up, for me, probably to my thigh. So if we can kind of enforce that. Thank you, Ms. Wilma, in advance. And I did mark the one that you had, but that's fine. I'm not a tree person, so. Yeah,
Anyone else?
thank you.
No problem. Anyone
Mr.
else?
Mayor,
Commissioner Bass?
I'm gonna go quickly. I just want to say to Mr. Leonard, you did well.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to having the additional information on the street beautification contest,
Mhm.
as well as the recycling program and the Adopt a Street program. I'm very interested in those. And I wanted to reiterate what you said earlier about making sure that this whole packet is posted on our website, because there's a lot of information in here that our residents, as well as, I'll speak for my colleagues, needed to be reminded of or make aware of. So thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly?
thank you. Very good presentation, Mr. Leonard. I know it's not your forte, you're a worker. I know that.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate that. I won't go over all the things, but I'm gonna say just,
Yes, sir.
it kind of gives me concern when we talk about residents or businesses doing what they're supposed to do, beautify, which they should.
Mhm.
And when I pass by that old transfer station by the railroad track
Mhm.
and see how it looks,
Mhm.
that says to me, we need to take care of ourselves first. I don't point, because I've said it since I got back
Right,
and it's still lingering.
right.
So the hour's late, so I'm not gonna go through all of my concerns. I want to ask two questions,
Okay.
really to you or to the manager. Do you have enough staff for this?
Yes,
You have the equipment for it?
yes.
Okay, because I asked this question a while back, when I first heard about beautification, when I came back. And when I saw the truck out there, I guess the company we're using, contracting with to do the work on Opa-locka Boulevard, I was wondering what happened to why don't we have a truck? Why aren't we doing that ourselves? So we have the equipment and we have the manpower to do all of this on the dates and all the things that we're supposed to do. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, like I say all the time, and you know how I do. I'll just watch to see, and hopefully it will take place, because some of these components that I see obviously deal with code compliance and getting folks to be aware of what their responsibilities, but also some of it falls on us in the timeliness. And as the mayor mentioned, talking about the overgrown and how grass can grow fast in the lots, I see a lot of our lots, a lot of our thoroughfares that are overgrown and not taken care of like they should. And then when residents say to me, you want us to beautify and keep ours clean, what about the city stuff? So you got enough equipment, you have enough manpower. I know you're up for the job, so I just hope that we follow through and we do what we say we're going to do, and it'll make it all better. I do want to see the plans for the recycling and some other things that were mentioned in here, because to me, it is a outline, it's a blueprint, but it's still a lot of pieces that need to be addressed, including those 6 designated projects, I guess you call it, that's listed in here, and some of those other things to outline. So hopefully we will get that as well. And I look forward to seeing it implemented over the course of time. And of course, if it ain't.
Okay,
So
thank
you, Mr. Mayor.
Can I,
Go ahead, Mr.
Mayor, I'm
King.
sorry. For our transfer station. You just brought that up. It started yesterday, getting cleaned. We got a contractor to go out there with heavy duty equipment, bulldozers, because that's the first step we have to do. That I cannot do in-house. We have to first clean it up. Then once they clean it up, I can maintain it. And they started yesterday. I should have had some pictures and brought it in, but that's being done as we speak. We started with the big transfer station, the big water plant area. Then the next is going to be the transfer station, because again, we want to turn that to a transfer station with the county. So everybody can start bringing their trash and dump whatever, so instead of dumping in the street, they have the transfer station back in Opa-locka. So some of these things that's being done, they're being done by contractors, but we started there first. Once it gets done, we can maintain it. That's the problem. So that's the issue I'm doing right now, basically. But that's started yesterday.
Okay. Thank you,
you.
Mr. King.
Great
Right.
job.
Thank you for the presentation. Great job.
Thank you.
Next up is our Parks Director, Ms. Zanya Ray.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners.
Good evening.
I come to give you the presentation of our Seniors on the Move 2023 trip to Savannah, Georgia, Jekyll Island, and Beaufort, South Carolina trip. That was from August the 28th to September the 1st. We left here on the 28th at 8 a.m. and we traveled from here to Brunswick, Georgia, where we had to stop every 2.5 hours to get there so that the seniors would be able to get off the bus, stretch, and engage in getting some refreshments. But when we arrived in Brunswick, Georgia, they put into a restaurant called Old Town Country Buffet. It was very clean. The people was manable. They was so nice till we didn't even know what to do. It was like, do you need anything? Do you need extra stuff? It was amazing. After we left there, we went to the Ava Hotel of Savannah on the south side. And we stayed in that hotel that you see from August the 28th to September the 1st. The people at that hotel greeted us. The host was there to wait on us to get there. When we got off the bus, we didn't have to take no luggage off the bus. They just made sure when we got in, they say, here go your keys to your room and your luggage will be at your door when you get there. By the time we got that off the bus, took our bags and stuff off the bus that we had inside the bus, our luggage surely was at that door of your assigned room with your partner. If you had the double room, 2 seniors stayed in a room to split the cost. And then if you had individual rooms, some of those seniors paid the additional extra funding to be in the room by themselves. But we had an amazing time. They had breakfast for us in the morning. The bus, when they said the bus would pull off at 9, that bus was there to pull off at 9 for us to go to Beaufort, South Carolina. That's the first time I ever been there. And the picture that you see on your pamphlet that you have is the old art gallery in South Carolina, where it has all the history of the slaveries. I learned about Mr. Robert Smalls. Never heard of him in my entire life. In school as a history, when I took up history, haven't heard his name ever. And I found out that he was the first Black hero in Beaufort during that time. And all the history of me learning that our parents were slaveries, and it just start from our older relatives and our ancestors. It started from our African native tribes that came over with Mr. Robert Smalls, and they were slaves over in Beaufort, South Carolina. So we got to see all the different types of appliances, statues. They gave us history about the different tribes that came in from Africa over with Mr. Smalls. So it was very educational for me and very knowledgeable to know that Mr. Smalls did such an amazing job with getting those things done during that time, during the history of slavery. So what you see at the bottom, you see a picture of Mr. Robert Smalls, which it says the first hero of Civil War. You also have one of the seniors that was there where they had other additional pictures there. And then the old stove and appliance during those slavery days that you see at the bottom of the picture. So I was really thrilled and amazed about what I've learned in South Carolina, in Beaufort, because like I say, I didn't know the history that far back. And then we arrived in Savannah on Thursday. We didn't make it to Jekyll Island because that's during the time the storm was passing through while we was over. So we ended up staying in that Wednesday. But that Thursday, we ended up going into Savannah. They took us to the train station that was there. It was nice. And then we end up on a trolley that took us all through the Savannah, where we seen the first African church there, where they had like 6 preachers that went through during the slavery times posted on their glass wall. And the picture that you see at the bottom where it says Savannah, Georgia, was the bottom of the church, of that same church, where our slavery ancestors will go down there to do praise and worship. And they did that for many, many years until slavery was no more. And then you see where we have the picture where it says slavery in Savannah, the African American Church of Andrew C. Marshall, and you see the free person of color. So, and the picture you see is where we was on the bus, and the house that you see, it identifies the bricks that's on the house is actually tell you that the Blacks that stayed in those property had money. So that was the signature of the Black culture in Savannah during the slavery times. That's what those bricks mean on those houses. So, I mean, the seniors enjoyed themselves. They asked when we planning another trip, but I must say that, Mr. Manager, we gonna have to open up the bank. Because they're in planning right now, and they just started actually doing deposit for Niagara Falls around the same time, but they done started actually preparing for their trip and paying on that trip right now. So I enjoyed myself. I want to go back because I could tell you I hate Georgia, but my experience in Savannah kind of gave me a wake-up call, and I want to go back and really learn more about the history of our slaveries during that time. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you, Ms. Ray, for what you do for our youth and our seniors. Thank you. We applaud you for that. Any questions?
Mr. Manager, Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Bass?
I want to ask Ms. Ray, how many students, how many seniors
Went on
went
the
on that
trip?
trip? Mhm.
It was 33.
Oh, good number. And I would like to inform you that coming up shortly, that Vice Mayor and myself will be crossing over. So we expect our T-shirts. Thank you.
You are.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner
I
Kelly?
do want to commend Ms. Ray and the seniors. I remember many years ago when I actually first started, people don't remember that, but I started Seniors on the Move back many, many years ago. And so I'm excited to see that the trips have come back, because I used to take them. And if y'all could, Commissioner Bass and Vice Mayor, that trip to Niagara Falls is going to be great, because I remember when they used to go to that, they were very excited about it. I'm not in a hurry to get my T-shirt. I can get it, but I'm not in a hurry. But I want to commend you and keep us posted. Keep us posted. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
All right, no problem. Thank you, thank you. All right, we're getting ready to go into our citizens forum. Madam Clerk, can you read into record how to participate in citizens forum?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. City of Opa-locka Commission meetings are held in person at the Opa-locka Government Center, City Commission Chambers, 780 Fisherman Street, 3rd floor, Opa-locka, Florida. Members of the public wishing to address the commission may do so in person or virtually. Those persons wishing to participate virtually should register prior to the scheduled meeting time on the city's website at www.opalockafl.gov. When speaking before the city commission, please make sure to give your full name and address for the record. There is a 3-minute time limit for public comments. Please adhere to the decorum policy, which is part of the commission meeting agenda. City commission meetings are aired through live stream at www.youtube.com/user/City of Opa-locka. And Mr. Mayor, at this time, we do not have any virtual public comments.
Okay, citizens forum is open.
Good evening. My name is Rose Titus. I reside at 1101 Dunad Avenue. And I'm here tonight to reiterate my concerns that were expressed, I believe it was September the 20th commission meeting. And that reiteration includes that on July the 10th, I sent an email to the city manager listing my concerns as and I requested that that email be responded to by him, and with the inclusion of the disposition of each concern, including the legal aspects of my concerns, so that I would have a legal reference in the future if I had to make that same, give that same concern, or maybe not give that that concern based on the legalities. I let a month go by, and after not receiving an acknowledgement or a response, I began calling the office of the city manager to speak with him or one of his assistants. Still no response. On August the 22nd, I received an email from Commissioner Kelly, and he was very apologetic for the manner in which I had been treated. And Commissioner Kelly stated that he was going to notify the city manager in hopes that I would hear from him in the future. Still no response. On August the 23rd, I received I sent a copy of an email I received a copy of an email from you, Mr. Mayor. And you directed in that email, you stated that you directed the city manager to respond to my inquiries, and you directed the manager to provide you with a written response by the end of the business day. Needless to say, I never heard from the city manager, and neither did you. The manager is not Karl Marx, and communism is not the order of the day, whereby there's I have a problem with that, totalitarian control. I ask you, Mayor and Commissioners, who's in charge here? We live in a democracy, which means that we're ruled by the people and for the people. We elect you to hire the city manager to work for you and the people and their best interest, not to be treated like second-class citizens and totally ignored. I ask again, who is in charge? I ask you, Mayor and Commissioner, who is in charge? Because on September the 20th, I voiced and this is October, we're going into November. I voiced my concerns regarding the city manager's blatant disrespect towards me as a citizen of this community. I did not then, and I have not now received any answers to my inquiries. Who is in charge?
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Citizens Forum is still open.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor. Audrey Dominguez, 1147 Jen Avenue. First, I'd like to congratulate Officer Donahue for embracing our community in such a short period of time, and also all the officers that are protecting the residents. I see you in the streets, so I want to thank you. Regarding the empty lots, it so happened that the other day in Jen Avenue, I saw, and it's an empty lot. It belongs to somebody. I did report it to the website, but the swales, they're about 2 feet high, like it's really high. But I did report it, so I'm gonna give them an opportunity to get it fixed. But I think the property owner of that empty lot should be contacted. It's 1325 Jan Avenue. I like to speak on regards to resolution number 3 regarding the consent agreement between Miami-Dade County and Durham and Opa-locka. I noticed that in the agenda package that 4 city managers had signed the consent agreement going way back 2016, 2019, 2021, and on January 4th of this year, the mayor received a certified letter of non-compliance of the terms and conditions of March 3rd of 2021, which was a consent agreement. Now, I'm not sure why the mayor received the letter. But then again, I started to think, well, maybe somebody wanted to get his attention or the attention of the city. Now I have a question. Why are we still granting conditional extensions of time to business that are going through Durham? Like granting them an extension if they still have not completed the process. It's stated that the pump station serving a facility is a moratorium, which is in violation of section 24-42.3 of the code. Now, my second question is, why are we paying for past due utility service fees for FY 2013, 2014, and the balance now is up to $130,000? Yet the city says, it says that we have over $80 million. Please don't take it personally, what I'm about to say, but this is business because first, I'm for Opa-locka. We have recycled city managers time and time again, yet the staff still remains the same. So to me, the problem never changes. We need to fix the problem because the staff that we have are aware of this. Not only does this look bad for the city manager, but also looks
Okay.
bad for the commission and the mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Commissioner. All right, citizens forum is still open.
Hello, good evening. My name is Louis.
One second. Mr. Manager, can you have somebody to fix the mic, please?
Good to go. Yeah. Stay right there. All right. Thank you. My name is Luis Lopez, and this is my sister, Kiara Molina. We reside at 610 Douglas Road, Opa-locka, Florida. I've simply come just to share my story about what happened a little under a year ago, and how these two officers, Officer Bernes and Officer Ramos, they pretty much saved my life. And according with my sister too, I feel like God used them as vessels, for me to still be here and continue on with, a life full of purpose. Roughly around a year ago, I was in active addiction. I was a heroin addict. I was using heroin for a little about 2 years, almost 3. There was no taking me out of that addiction. I fell really hard into it. I lost everything that I had, houses, cars, money, everything that I ever gained and worked hard for. I lost due to that addiction. About a year ago, roughly, I overdosed. I died. I literally died. I didn't have no type of pulse in my heart or, any type of breathing, nothing. I was completely shut down. That day, my sister walked in on me. She had just came home from school. My mother was on vacation. My sister had just came home from school. She had just walked in on me, overdosing. These two officers were actually at the scene at the moment, helping one of my neighbors that was going through a problem, and they were there at the scene at the time. My sister walked in on me, saw that I was pretty much dead. She went outside, got Officer Bernes and Ramos. They both came inside, and I think there was another officer at the moment. They applied Narcan to me. Officer Bernes gave me CPR, chest compressions. I was out cold for I don't even remember how long. And I'm able to tell this story here today because of them. And yeah, I'm very grateful for them. I've almost a year sober. I haven't done any type of anything. I went to a whole rehabilitation program. I was there for like 4 or 5, so almost 6 months. And I've been clean ever since. I have a purpose ahead of me. I'm continuing on with my career. I'm an electrician. That's what I always done. And, I'm actually taking it serious this time.
Mhm.
Trying to get my licensing and just, continue on with the path that I know God always had for me and that I was taking for granted. I came back from something that not anybody comes back from. And I know that. And that's nothing that I take light, and that's nothing that I take for granted. And I'm real thankful that I'm still here, able to say, everything that I'm saying.
Yes.
If anybody ever had, if I ever had any sort of doubt of God and Jesus in my life, I know that He's real, man. Because what happened to me that day was for me to be dead, and I'm still here, alive, to be able to say that. And
That's
yeah.
great. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you to our officers. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr.
May I
Officer.
say something?
Sure, sure.
Okay. Granted, it's about him, about what we're talking about today. But none of this would have been even achievable. I've been here for about 1.5 years, right? With Chief. I've sat down and talked to Chief, Mayor Williams, Lieutenant Harborough. They've given us trainings on classes. Between these 3 men, between the military, the background of police, it's probably 80 years plus. And the main thing that they teach us and they tell us is you stay on your task. We were dealing with something else. We ran to this. We focused, we did our task. He got up and walked with the fire department. He left on his feet. Then went back to the domestics. And all you think about is how the people we look up to told us what to do. So I want to thank these 3 men for everything that we do.
Thank you. Thank you.
If I may.
Citizens Forum is still open.
Good evening, Ronnie Mitchell, 14225 Northwest, 22 Place. Thank you. I'm coming before you guys again about the water bill situation, about the letter that I received, and I didn't get a response back. Since then, I've gotten these new water bills. I got one that was due on October 4th. Then I received another one that was due October the 11th. And I have another one now that's due on November the 1st. So I'm wondering if anyone contacted them or got any information regarding how this building is going to be going. And I'm not the only one that got more than one bill. So is anyone contacting them to find out what's going on? Why is so many bills going out at one time? I mean, they're not, they're regular readings, I guess. That's what they're saying. But then how do we get 3 at one time that's due really like 2 weeks apart from each other? So if anybody can get some information and get back with me, I mean, I hadn't received a response back from the other, time that I came regarding the water bill. Another thing, we have building that's going on in the city, like new construction, apartments, businesses. And as residents, our residents go through the city trying to get information. I'm gonna give you an example. The apartments that they're building on 22nd Avenue, new ones. They want to know, how do they go about getting an application or contact someone? If someone is in our building, in our city building, at least the city should have some information on how a person can put in the application to become a resident or try to, rent the properties for an apartment, because they come to me and ask, but when you call the numbers, they say, well, we'll take your name and we'll call you back. Or now when you call, they say we don't have no information. And I can't understand, if this is the company that's building, how you not have any information on how to get someone an application to apply for an apartment. So I feel that you guys should get information from them to give to the residents. If anyone call, how would they go about renting the places or buying a place or whatever, at least when they come in the city, to have some sort of information for the residents so that they'll be aware on how I can get a place to stay. So I spoke with someone and I promised them that I would get back with them. I've been calling, but every time I call, and even the numbers that is there with the builders, I get different information. So If you guys can get some information, how someone would apply for an apartment complex, apartment rental, and get back with me and I can pass on the information. And I also, again, asking, is there any information about assistance for seniors, their homes? Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Mitchell.
Hello, Internet Mitchell, 14225 Northwest 22nd Place. I would like to commend the police department for bringing back the Explore program. Last night was our first official meeting and we had 2 explorers attend. This is where we need the help from the PR firm with advertising throughout the city. Social media seem to be the only advertisement for the city events. Flyers need to be distributed to schools, aftercares, and neighborhoods. Remember, everyone is not on social media. We want to construct our program like many cities so our kids can attend competition as well as fulfill a career in law enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you, Antoinette. Citizens Forum is still open.
Stephanie Holden, 200 Purpose Avenue. I wanted to just say, the last meeting wasn't a good meeting. I felt like I was at church. I felt like you sat up there and preached. And it really didn't look good. But I'm gonna tell you this, I did my homework on you all, commissioners. Okay, you sit up here, you running red lights. Okay, running red lights and running through tolls. Okay, now you tell me, you all are commissioners, mayors, and you sitting up here running red lights, tolls, state tolls, but you sitting up here preaching. Okay, use some of your time of preaching, go preach at these prisons. Do something with yourself besides loving this building so much. Now, your boy, Mr. Brian Dennis, you see this? This is a whole package on your boy. Drug dealer, battery, gonna beat you up, okay? Battery, okay, all kind of stuff. Selling drugs, doing drugs, cocaine, marijuana, all here. All week I've been doing this background check, finding out about your boy. Who you have sitting up here on the board, looking at us and telling us all kind of stuff, sitting up here acting like he's so bad, he gonna beat somebody up. Yeah, all of this on him. You want it? I can give it to you. It's a whole book from 1980 all the way to 2023. 80s, 90s, and 2023. A whole book on your boy. See his name? Dennis. Brian Dennis. That's your boy. You got him sitting up here. Use your time. Go to these jails. Preach there. I didn't like that. That was very rude, very nasty. You don't come up here and preach. I mean, you really didn't look good at all. You didn't carry yourself well at all as a pastor. And I'm letting you know that. Get it together, start running these lights and pay your toll. Do that.
Citizens Forum is still open.
My foot went numb. Alexander Jan Van Meckel, full name, right? 806 Jan Avenue. Good evening, Mayor and Commission, City Staff Manager. I just want to start out the gate by thanking Mr. King Leonard. You are the king of our beautification efforts. I have seen the gradual, although I like to see things faster. I see the gradual process and progress of our beautification efforts in the city of Opa-locka. I live on Jan Avenue. I saw the tires firsthand. I am an active user, and as should every resident be, of the Build Better Opa-locka app, which hasn't been mentioned in a while. But The first person to respond and is always responsive is King Leonard. He has been since the 2 years that I've lived here, since I've been engaged and active in wanting to make a difference and be a part of beautification. And I'm so grateful that this commission, the manager, essentially emboldened him to be able to do what he needs to do. And I, in the 2 years that I've been here, have seen it. And the neighbors that I speak to regularly are commenting on it. And I think that's good for morale overall for the residents. I also want to acknowledge about Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's not just about a month. It's every single day of every month of every year. My mom is a survivor. I am ashamed I'm not wearing pink in these last few days, but Barbie would wear pink every single day. I think we always should celebrate and commemorate the occasion. So shout out to the survivors and to those that are going through that as we speak. I also want to acknowledge that it is 5 days left of what is known as LGBT month. And I think it is important that we honor and reflect on those past and present that are here in our city of Opa-locka, of the LGBTQI+++ community that are here to make a difference and make a positive impact. So shout out to all those that are around. I did have a question just in regards to, and I do apologize if I had missed a meeting and it had gotten brought up in the past, but over a year ago, I had come to the dais at the former location asking about any sort of progress related to open storage, as many cities have implemented this legislation to help with beautification, help create a standard and a code of ethics in terms of upkeep of properties. I wasn't sure where the city of Opa-locka currently stood on that. And Vice Mayor, real quick, I know that you had implored boards to come forth with reports, and I'm here as the vice chair of our Historic and Environmental Preservation Board to let Opa-locka residents and everyone know historic activities are alive and well. Our history is coming back to life in new forms, new fashions, and we have our Historic and Environmental Board meeting tomorrow at 6 p.m. right in this room. I encourage everyone to show and learn about some of these activities. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex. Citizens Forum is still open? Hearing none, seeing none, Citizens Forum is closed. So quick recap. Okay. Commissioner Titus talked about the lack of response from management. So we need to ensure that she's responded to. Commissioner Audrey Dominguez congratulated the officers for a job well done and talked about the need of the grass being cut on 1325 Jan Avenue, I believe. Then she had a couple of questions on the consent agreement, as well as there was something else, but I didn't get it while we're still paying something. But Mr. Manager, can you get one of your staff to ask her what those concerns were? Mr. Lopez, he left, but I also want to commend the officers that helped to save his life. So thank you for a job well done. Ms. Mitchell has brought up the water bill situation numerous occasions and asked us to reach out to Miami-Dade. So Mr. Manager, let's make sure we do that. And Ms. Mitchell, I know the apartments, I call, and when I get the information, they also tell me that they're not ready yet. And I get that too, that they don't know when they're gonna start the application process, but I will call again. Antoinette, thank you. She was the last graduating class of the Opa-locka Explorer program. And thank you for also reaching back to volunteer. Mr. Alex, you talked about the open storage and a celebration of many different holidays in the city of Opa-locka, but the open storage, I remember we talked about it, I believe, in a workshop or something, but I don't think anything came before the commission as far as legislation. Okay, but I do want to make a motion directing the city manager to respond to all citizens forum concerns within 24 hours and copy the commission with the response. So within 24 hours from this meeting to respond, that's my motion. to respond to all citizens forum concerns. And there was a lot of concerns that were brought up. So I'm making that motion for him to respond to all citizens.
Mr.
forms
Mayor,
concern.
before there is a second, this has to be done by resolution. So any directives have to be done by resolution for the city manager.
Okay,
Just want to put that on the
then
record.
I'll bring legislation.
Yes, sir.
But as a body, we cannot direct him as a body.
Your code of ordinances say that you do so by resolution.
Only.
Yes, sir.
So when we make motions all right, no problem. But in good faith, Mr. Manager, I would hope that you would respond to all of our citizens' forums, concerns within 24 hours and CC the commission on the responses so that we are made aware of those responses and can follow up with our residents that elected us. Any other concerns for citizens forum?
Mr. Mayor, I would just like to say, I totally disagree with that 24-hour period because yes, I agree that the city manager needs to become more proactive in responding back to persons. But however, that 24 hours is unconscionable. This man is here, with 17,000 residents plus almost 200 employees. We as leaders in the community, in our own personal rights, have less than 10 subordinates, and we don't get it right all the time. Let's ask him what works for him. Because sometimes it might be 1, 2, maybe 3 items only. Another meeting might be 10. I don't think 24 hours is enough.
Commissioner Bass, and I was talking specifically about this meeting, and everybody that has come up has said one, that they've been up here on numerous occasions. So we by now should have an answer for these residents and stop leaving them in limbo. But
I'm not opposed to it. I'm saying I just think 24 hours is not enough.
okay, yes, ma'am. All right, any other concerns for citizens forum?
I,
Go ahead. Vice Mayor?
yes, I agree that, just to say 24 hours, this need to be done. I think that we definitely should hear from him as to how long that he thinks some of these concerns can be, addressed.
No problem. Commissioner Kelly, you have the floor as well. You came about the.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had said I was going to be quiet tonight and not say a whole lot, but I think you are a psalmist and possible minister, Mr. Mayor. I know the vice mayor is an entrepreneur and a business person. I know Commissioner Bass is a doctor and also an elder. But I think I'm the only pastor sitting up here, so I normally wouldn't respond. But I just want to say that we live in a democracy and everybody has the right to state their opinion and come up and say what they want to say. That's why we live in this great democracy that we live in. But I'll just keep doing what I do. I'll keep working like I'm working, and people can just keep talking like they're talking. On the issue that you're mentioning, Mr. Mayor, 24 hours, we can get into that discussion when you bring back the legislation. But I am concerned because things do keep coming up. They keep coming up and not having a response. But I'll wait till your legislation comes back and we can debate that because the hour is far spent. But I'll talk more into my report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, moving on to our consent agenda. Item 13.2.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, requiring the city manager or interim city manager to pay all expenditures related to special events that do not exceed the amount of the fiscal year budget allocation from the commissioner making the request. To further require that the city manager or interim city manager verifies that all expenditures are within the budgeted amount allocated and for an allowable public purpose, providing for a corporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by Mayor Taylor.
Can I get a motion?
I'll
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly.
second for the session.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly, second for discussion by Vice Mayor, and I'll present this item. The reason I proffer this item is because we pass a budget in the beginning of the year, and I felt that us bringing legislation every time we have to pass to try to bring an event is duplicative of what we already passed in the budget. So I felt that if we did something like this and we stay, the only time we would have to bring something before the body is if we exceed the allotted amount of money that was already budgeted for. So once we surpass the $5,000 that we budget, then we would bring legislation before the body for approval.
Okay. Mr.
And Vice Mayor, you.
Mr. Mayor, I've actually pulled this item for that exact reason for the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the sixth whereas. I feel like we're given a budget of $5,000. And we all know adding and subtracting. And if we exceed our $5,000, we exceed our $5,000. I think for us to come back and ask to get more money for something that we're planning to do. I didn't like that whereas.
So that would mean if we remove that, whereas that would mean if you exceed your $5,000, let's just say you plan I'm just saying this, you plan a picnic.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say a picnic, and that picnic is $5,000. You will not be able to come back before the board to bring, that's what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that's why we set budgets for that reason, like.
And we also do budget amendments throughout the year to add more money to the budget when even the city budget exceeds the allotted amount.
Yes.
And taking into consideration that the commission budget has been decreased.
Right. And if I may, you and Kelly asked that it goes back up. And I don't know if we heard from the state to say yay or nay. I'm assuming they said nay. So we're gonna do it anyway. I just wanted to.
No, this is not increasing the budget. This is saying we won't have to bring legislation every single time we put on an event.
I like the item. I just don't like that particular part. That means if we go, like budgets for us is set, and if we tried to increase it, they said no. So we're gonna do it anyway, is what I'm saying.
It's not what I'm saying. I'm Commissioner. I'm sorry, Vice Mayor had the floor.
If I'm wrong, then
No.
So you say it's not what it's saying. Okay.
Commissioner Kelly.
Thank you. If I interpret the legislation, all of us have our amount, and then what the state did was put, instead of giving us the additional 5, they actually put it in Parks and Recreation and various line items that can be utilized because some of the events are what they call citywide or driven by the entire commission. When I look at the whereas that the vice mayor is referencing, when I looked at it, I first had a concern, but to me, I interpret again to the sponsor. You're only saying if you exceed your 5,000, then you got to come back to the commission because that means you don't have any more money in your line item.
Correct.
So you're going to need support to get it done, to authorize the manager to go into that Parks and Recreation Fund, I call it. Because yes, the state did not give us the extra 5. They basically put those line items, and let me be clear, Mr. Mayor, to the manager via finance, that's what they did. They didn't give us the 5, but basically put additional dollars and line items through Parks and Recreation budget. But to access that, if I interpret the legislation correctly, if you're going to do that because you have no more money in your 5,000, you have to come to the commission to get authorization for it.
Yes,
But let me back up to make sure that I'm clear on the first point. Mr. Mayor, to the manager and the staff, is that the interpretation that I understood from the state, that the money's in that in Parks and Rec?
We do actually have a significant amount of funding in the Parks Department budget, the highest I believe that it's ever been. We have allocated for the fiscal year 23-24 approximately $250,000, $250,000 for events. Yes, sir.
Well, I know it's that much money enough for events, but I know it's in the line item of Parks and Recreation. But this legislation basically says if we exceed our 5, we got to come to the commission to get authorization for the manager to go into that extra wherever they are in the line items. And so that's why I'm supportive of it. I wish we didn't have to do that, but what's that going to mean is after you exceed your 5, you have to come back to the commission for anything more. The legislation does not, which I'm having to do, and we've all had to do, come for these individual things just to get done, which to me shouldn't occur because it's in our purview, in our line items. So to me, this legislation says during the course of this year, if you want to do something that's $400, you ain't got to come at the commission to do it because you have it. If you don't have any more money past your 5,000, then you have to come back to the commission to get a vote to approve of it. And so that's why I would be supportive of it, because I'm looking at stuff now, come at the commission for 300 here and 400 there just doesn't make any sense when it's in your own line item budget for you to do whatever you feel you want to do in the community. So I'm really glad to see it. I still like the idea, if you go over your amount, you do have to come back to the commission to get authorization. And since the manager said there's $250,000, I know that much, because it's kind of broken down into some line items, but that's still quite a bit. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And Mr. Mayor,
Vice Mayor.
if I may, and that's where I have my problem with. It's like if you give your child an allowance and they overspend their allowance, then they stuck. You call your grandma, call your granddaddy, get some more money. Go, like, if we're doing a special event, we go over our budget, then that's it.
All right. We can,
I'm sorry, but I do like the fact that we don't have to come back to the commission every time we want to do something when we're doing a special event. I just don't like that. Whereas, but because if I stay within my 5,000, but you go over to 10,000 or Kelly go to 200,000, it's not fair to me that
hence why I said it has to come before the commission for approval. So we have to agree as a board.
But on the, Mr. Mayor, to the Vice Mayor, and I've seen this, you stay with your amount, and then for some reason, somebody comes to you with a great initiative that you want to do, but you don't have enough in your line item, but it's still something noteworthy, would be good for the city, good for the community. We still want to do it. You just don't have enough in your line item to do it. This would allow you to do it based on getting your colleagues' approval. And that could happen. You only got $5,000. Yes, we all are stewards. I mean, matter of fact, I didn't even spend all of mine because, to the end of the year. But if you spend your money and you are due diligent and you try to stay, I still think, and I guess this is a question really to the manager. When I looked at this, there are some things that we do, even that is a part of events, that really should come out of some of those line items that's in the park budget rather than our individual, because they are citywide or community wide. But there could be something come up where you just not have enough money. You got 2,000 left. Somebody comes along and says, Vice Mayor, this great initiative will be beneficial for the seniors or for the young people. You only got 2,000. You need another 1,000. You would be able through this legislation to come before the commission and say, here's this great idea, initiative. I would need an extra 1,000 to do it. I believe it's beneficial. Now, that's just because you bring it here or whoever brings it doesn't mean we got to vote for it. We can turn it down. We could turn it down and say, no, we don't think we should use those dollars for that. But it's commission.
To the mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to support this item, but I just wanted to let it be known, as Kelly say, for the record, when they come back to ask for more money, I'm going to say no. That's it.
All right. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Bass? Yes. Vice Mayor Irvin?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay. We're going into our add-on items 14.1.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing the interim city manager to explore financing options for the replacement of the air conditioner chiller system currently servicing City Hall, providing for a corporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
Can I get a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass, second by Commissioner Kelly, I mean Vice Mayor Irvin, I'm sorry. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I want to, this is an add-on item, obviously as an emergency, as air conditioning is something essential for us to have here in South Florida. We've been having some long-term issues with our AC and chiller units. We've been doing patch jobs for the last year and a half. AC first went out over code enforcement. We were able to get that repaired. Then the air conditioning unit went out over the finance department. We were able to get that repaired. When the AC went out here in the new commission chambers, we began to look at the system in its entirety as a whole. We've had 3 assessments done, and all 3 assessments came to the same conclusion, and that is that we need to replace the AC and chiller units here that are servicing City Hall. So we began to first work with a company, the only company we were able to find that actually finances this type of operation, as they are a conglomerate, and we were declined for them to move forward and work with us. Therefore, which might be for the best, is that would have been a more expensive option, financing in that manner or financing through those type of companies. Our next option, which is cheaper, is to look at bank financing. However, our lowest estimate that we have to date, and we are currently engaging 2 more companies to get additional estimates, is $1.5 million. Therefore, in order to move forward with speaking with banks and getting a full negotiation on, we wanted to bring that to the commission and get that approval first. I'm available. Ms. Gross, our capital improvement project manager, and also King Leonard, our superintendent for building and beautification division, are available to answer any questions that the commission may have about this item. Also want to, this is an add-on item. Sometimes they come at the last minute. They come as emergency. So I also want to thank the city attorney for jumping in at the last minute and assisting us with putting this item together.
Okay, any questions for the manager or to staff?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly?
I did remember this coming up in the briefing, and I was looking for it, but I see it now in the summary. So we're still at 1.5. We didn't add anything additional, because my concern was because we're placing this entire system, in essence, that we not box ourselves in, especially since we're going to finance. And I had asked the manager and staff, so I guess they must research and feel they didn't need to do it more than the 1.5, because that's what's listed in the I guess the estimate.
That doesn't
from the company.
That doesn't include the contingency. Commissioner, that's just the price.
That's what I'm saying. This says 1.5 for budgeting purposes, which I understood from your conversation. What I'm asking is, why did not we include a little more for contingencies, or are you just going to take that from some other line item because of having to finance just a unit? I guess that's my question. Mr. Mayor, to the manager.
Through the mayor to Commissioner Kelly, absolutely, we are following your advice. As I stated in your briefing, and Mr. Ennis and I anticipate 400,000 to 600,000 contingency will be necessary for this item. Once we get approval from the commission, we will be negotiating contingencies and what that amount may look like with every banking institution, and go with the best option that we can. So we anticipate asking anywhere from $1.75 to $2 million as contingency basis. And we additionally need to get 2 more quotes.
Okay, and the reason I bring it up, because once they get started, you don't know what's going to occur. This is our major building. We got schools here. I would have preferred, and that's why I asked it the way I did you only list the 1.5 based on financing? Because I would have preferred to see the additional, whatever, 340,000 in the legislation as is. So the total amount, I mean, obviously hope you don't have to spend it all, but if it's all there, it doesn't have to come back. If they run into some challenge that's major, that's you know, a lot of money and you got to come back and try to find us to do it. Because I said earlier, looking at this and what you said, being a projected length of time, there could be things that has to occur as part of contingency. So this probably gonna be rare, but Mr. Mayor, I'd like to say to the manager, I think we need to extend this up instead of 1.5 to maybe to add the additional 3 or whatever the number you said, $400,000.
2 million would be our ask.
Whatever the amount was, to add it to it now. So we're doing it as an emergency and we know we can't survive without AC. So the contingency is in there. We don't need it. Obviously, we don't have to use it. So yeah, I'd like to make that motion to amend it. So we ain't got to deal with it. Because I told the manager in the briefing I seen before where we've had city buildings, and once you get in there and you got to do stuff and you got to come back and it's not something we want to do, especially with schools and everything we have is in this building. So let's try to just take care of it one time. So I'd like to make the amendment, Mr. Mayor, to my colleagues to add the additional 400,000. You said 405, what did you say, 400 or 500,000?
We'd like to, we request amendment to 2 million, so it'd be additional 500,000, which is halfway between my point and Mr. Anathan's point for contingency.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna stay with you. I'm not going to 1.5. Okay, so additional 500 to make it 2 million. So there's enough inclusive of not only the cost they have here for the work, but for contingency. So Mr. Mayor, to the attorney, I guess how we could word that 1.5 on the unit. I don't know how, but you can give us some language to make that work. I'd like to move that as an amendment.
Yes, Commissioner Kelly, through the mayor, every place where you see in the resolution where it says 1,500,000, that would change to $2 million.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Every place where you see 1.5 million, that would change to 2 million.
Oh, okay, okay, we can do that simple. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make that amendment to it.
All right, that amendment was made. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bass. Madam Clerk, roll call on the amendment.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Bad,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion on the amendment passes.
All right, and any other concerns about this item? All right, we can call on question.
Commissioner Bad,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
All right, we're getting ready to go into our ordinances. 16-1, Madam Attorney.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending the annual adopted general proprietary and special revenue funds budgets for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2023, and ending September 30, 2024, adjusting revenues and expenditures as reflected in Exhibit A, providing for the expenditure of funds established by the budget, authorizing the city manager to take certain actions, providing for appropriation of all budgets and expenditures, providing for fees consistent with appropriations and amendment, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
Okay, this is a public hearing item, so can I get a motion? Move,
Move it.
moved by Commissioner Bass, second. I'm sorry,
Okay.
moved by Vice
Yes,
Mayor, second by Commissioner Bass. Mr. Manager, can you present the item and then we'll open up the floor for public hearing?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an item coming from our budget and risk department and division. And we have that team here spearheaded by our Mr. Robert Anathan, our budget administrator, to answer any questions that the commission may have.
All right, any questions sorry, this is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Any questions for the manager or Mr. Anathan? All right, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0 first reading.
All right, we're going down to 16-2, I'm sorry, Madam Attorney.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending the annual adopted general proprietary and special revenue funds budgets for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2022, and ending September 30, 2023, adjusting revenues and expenditures as reflected in Exhibit A, providing for the expenditure of funds established by the budget, authorizing the city manager to take certain actions, providing for appropriation of all budgets and expenditures, providing for fees consistent with appropriations and amendment, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
All right, can I get a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Bass,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor. Mr. Manager, please present, and then we'll open up for a public hearing.
Thank you. This is a similar identical item. The previous item was pertaining to the current fiscal year. This is a cleanup item pertaining to the fiscal year that we're now closing out, and we have our budget team here to answer any questions if you may have them.
All right, this is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Do we have any questions for the manager or Mr. Anderson at this time? All right, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor,
Yes.
motion passes 4-0 first reading.
All right, we're going into our second reading ordinances, 16B1, Madam Attorney.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Article 1, Chapter 7, Section 7-5 of the City of Opa-locka Code of Ordinances to include provision for certificates of reoccupancy, providing for regulations, providing for penalties, providing for adoption of representations, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing for codification, providing for an effective date. First reading, public hearing was held on September 27th, 2023. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
All right, can I get a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bass. Mr. Manager.
Thank you. This is an item coming from our Community Development Department, looking to move forward with the second reading of ordinance of our certificate of reoccupancy. This is an item that we started working on last year. The commission asked us to do a workshop and bring it back. So we've completed that workshop and outreach to our residents, and we are now moving forward with the second reading. We have the Community Development Director, Mr. Gregory Gay, available to answer any questions if the commission may have them.
Okay, this is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Any questions for the manager or you said community development?
Yes, yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly?
thank you. I don't know if the city attorney had a chance to work on any language, but I said in my briefing under Section 8, where it says city manager authority in the event of a pending real estate transaction, the city manager shall enter into a stipulated settlement agreement. I wanted the language added in there, subject to city attorney approval, because you are talking about an agreement. So I don't know if that's language can go right there, but I'd like to see that in there, because anytime there's agreements or settlements, I always believe it should be, make sure it's legal and it's all done through the city attorney before the manager would sign off on a final document. So I'd like to make that amendment inside of Section 8, subject to city attorney approval regarding the wording. That's a motion to add on.
Okay, Madam Attorney, did you catch that motion?
Yes, I did. We can add that if there's a second to that motion and a vote, obviously.
I'll second.
All right, the motion was made by Commissioner Kelly, seconded by
I'll second.
Commissioner Bass. Madam Clerk, on the motion?
On the amendment,
Sorry, on the amendment, you're right, on the amendment.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes,
Motion passes 4-0 on the amendment.
okay, any questions or concerns on the actual item? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
All righty, as we get ready to go to our city manager's report. Item number 17, Mr. Manager.
Thank you. So we have a couple of briefs that are necessary for us to apprise the commission in its entirety and the public of updates on information. The first being on the revitalization of the historic City Hall. And we have our CIP manager, Ms. Adelina Gross, who's going to present that update.
Ms. Gross, you have the floor. Wait, Mr. Manager, can you ask him to turn on the mic, please?
Yes, I'll assist. And we need the other presentation queued up.
Tiny person, so I'm sorry. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioner. Historic City Hall is under renovation. Now it's okay. Historic City Hall is under renovation. Outside plumbing has been completed. Irrigation and sewer lines have been repaired. The spiral stairs are being rehabilitated and reinforced. Roof repairs and replacement have started. Mold and mildew testing has been performed for additional damaged areas encountered during the rehabilitation process. An assessment of the currently installed elevator is being performed to ensure code compliance and safety, since it was never fully installed or inspected at the moment of construction. So do you have any questions?
I'm excited. Commissioner Kelly.
When is it supposed to be finished?
By the end of the year.
December?
Yes.
Because I hardly ever see anybody in there. That's why I'm asking that question. I've had residents ask me, what are they doing? I see maybe one person one day and then I don't see anybody for days. What I really would like for them to do is keep it maintained and cut while they're doing the work. Because even when we had the folks come from out of town, the grass was high, it looked really bad.
Yeah.
It goes back to the same thing I said earlier about on residents to keep theirs up, but we don't. So while they're doing the work and the construction, make sure they keep up the maintenance so it at least looks nice. So end of the year. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, any other questions or concerns to Ms. Gross? All right, that was my question too. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Ms. Gross, if you'll stand by for an update on York Street and the encroachment issues that the city is working through there.
Let me wait for the presentation. As requested, boundary surveys were completed for lots 10, 12, 13, 14, 18, 19, and 20 in block 357 Magnolia Gardens Consolidated, specifically to York Street, corresponding to the following addresses: 2006 York Street, 2010, 2020, 2060, 2070, 2080, and 2096. In your screen, you can see an aerial view of Ingram Park and the adjacent properties. Next slide, please. In this one, you can see the same aerial view, but with the parcels that are delineated by Miami-Dade County. Next slide. In this one, you will be seeing the Ingram Park boundary survey that we performed earlier this year, non-related to this project, but something related to the park. And along the red line that you see on the screen indicates the utility easement, 5-foot utility easement located within the property. Next slide. Okay, so bearings shown in the attached files were assumed and based on the center line of York Street. What you're seeing here is zooming, or actually the individual boundary survey performed for each one of the properties. You can go through them. Next slide. Look the same. So the results of the boundary surveys are as follow. There is a 5-foot utility easement located inside the boundary line of each one of the properties located on block 357. What you see in yellow is the utility easement that I'm referring to. There is limited and or no access to the utility easement, which is necessary to perform services to the utilities located inside the easement, such as water meters. Some of the structures found within the 5-foot utility easement are metal fences, wood fences, metal roof, concrete structures, and metal sheds. Encroachment into the Ingram Park property line was also encountered with a range between 0.88 foot to 2 foot or 2 feet within the property line of Ingram. So those are the results of the boundary surveys. There is an easement. However, the easement is inside the property line, inside each private property line. I will defer all questions to the attorney or to the city manager regarding what's the next step.
So our next step is to take this information, provide it into a staff report, and confer with the city attorney and brief her on it.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly.
the night's been long, so I'm gonna keep it short. I'd just like to get a presentation, copy of that, that's all. I can't see all those.
Yeah, I can't see it either.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right, any other questions from Ms. Gross? All right, thank you. Mr. Manager, you still have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This concludes my report.
All righty. Do we have any official board reports? I think Alex already did his report.
Thank you.
For historic preservation.
Thank you.
All right, so we're moving on to the mayor and commission report. We'll go from left to right. Commissioner Bass, you have a report?
Just a reminder that on the 11th of November, we will be celebrating our veterans across Miami-Dade County. For me personally, it doesn't matter where they're from, because as long as you serve our country, you serve our country. At Ingram Park, at Shabundi Park, we will be having a picnic from 11 to 2. In conjunction with the police department, City of Opa-locka, Mayor and Commission. So get the word out, come and celebrate with us as we celebrate our veterans again, November 11th, 11 to 2. And to give a shout out to Ms. Wilcox and Mr. Williams for allowing her to help make this event possible. Thank you.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
Thank you. I don't have much going on. However, on Saturday at about 6:41 p.m., supposed to be driving somewhere totally different, but as I'm passing the parking lot here where the state building is, I happened to see Chief Otley and Officer New York in the parking lot. Me being as inquisitive as I am, of course I spoke, and they had these nice black long sleeve t-shirts, said police on it, looking cute. And so I did ask, what are you all doing or whatever? And they said something that I have not heard in years, not as a citizen, as an activist, period. They said to me that they were doing vehicle inspections. I say, doing what? Vehicle inspections. Oh, that's new. Thank you. So I was excited to hear that they were doing police inspections, inspecting the vehicles that obviously ran late into the evening. And I just want to say with that, Chief Otley, you were doing an amazing job with this police department. My phone sometimes don't even ring. I'm like, God dang, no report, no complaints, no nothing. But thank you so much for moving us in the direction that you're moving us. And for those of you not to forget that Halloween is coming. And as always, the Park and Recreation Department, we do our annual haunted house. So please come out on Tuesday, 5:30 to I think 9 it is, and get scared, enjoy the entertainment, and get candy. And with that being said, I would like to suggest to my colleagues to maybe show up and do like a trunk or treat for the kids. My other colleague over there's already shaking her head no. Come out and have a trunk or treat. I got to get my husband to clean up my trunk so that I can trunk or treat with you all. Thank you. That's it.
Okay, Commissioner Kelly.
I don't know how you follow trunk or treat, but yeah, let me stay in that same vein for a moment because I was out fishing, me and my wife at England, and the chief and Sergeant Harborough came through, and I want to commend them for that. We were just out fishing and they came through, so they were just checking on the park. So I did appreciate them coming through because I'm always somewhere, as you know, near the park if I can be there. So I want to commend them for that, being out in the community. Vice Mayor didn't mention it, but of course I supported our monthly bingo that we had. Bingo is a really good thing for our community. I look forward to it every month. I enjoy supporting our youth football program, although I stay outside the gate because there's a lot of kids in there, but I do come by and support the football program and the cheerleaders and the season they're having. I also want to say, as part of Florida City Government Week, I, along with my co-host, Commissioner Bass, who had to FaceTime in because she wasn't able to make it, hosted Nathan B. Young and Robert Ingram Elementary on last Thursday. As part of Florida City Government Week, they had their own mayor, their own commission, appointed officials. And I want to thank the department directors, folks that did come by. Parks Director, Ms. Ray, the chief came by, CRA director came by. I want to thank you all, Mr. King Leonard, for coming by to speak to the young people. They actually debated two issues, curfews and park openings. So that's always something I look forward to for our young people learning how city government works. On last Friday, we held our monthly Feeding South Florida at Siegel Park. And I also had the opportunity, although sadly, to attend former Mayor Shirley Gibson's memorial service this past Monday. Of course, it was said she was an icon. I had the opportunity to serve with her on the Miami-Dade League City's executive board. And she truly was an icon, and the community came out in support. Of course, our mayor did a resolution along with Commissioner Williams up front. So I want to just acknowledge that as well. Under my report also, I have three things, and I want to make it quick because the hour spent regarding Roar Media. I know the company was passed by the commission before I got back here, but I have some real concerns with communication and or lack thereof. And I hear it, maybe Monday, I hear it in the community. You've heard it here tonight. It's not working. It is not working, in my opinion, for what we're paying per year for media and public relations. So to Mr. Manager, I guess if you can send me something, send us something that would justify continuing this agreement, I'm gonna be coming back not to have it. Because we spent a lot of money, and yet everything I hear in the community, we didn't know about it. We didn't know it was even going on. I just heard about it on your Facebook page, or I heard about it on Vice Mayor's page. Even when it comes down to flyers. And again, I don't walk on eggshells. We don't get our flyers done from the media folks, we get them done from the clerk's office. There's a disconnect. So we pay a lot of money for communication to get the word out to the community for things that we're doing, all segments, all areas of our community, and it is not working. It is not working. It is not working. Also, the second thing, the request for audit presentations. I did hear you, Madam Attorney, saying that we have to put in resolution form, but I'm going to say to my colleagues, and I know, Mr. Mayor, you have it really as a part of your oversight update, but we need to hear from our auditors and the firm we just hired to come before this commission and make presentations to us on where they are, the timeframes they are, and what is anticipated. Because as it stands right now, even with the projected positivity that they indicated, their report still says January, i.e. February. Now, we heard different numbers, of course, from the previous company that was assisting to get the information to us. According to the presentation by the current company we just hired, the earliest they would get information to the auditors for some kind of completion would be January, and a best case scenario, they would have everything they would need done by February. We know, of course, we're up against a December 31st deadline. I did hear it was mentioned by the manager when the mayor asked him last month, he'd been in contact with JLAC. I don't know what that information has been. So I want to hear from the auditors. I want to hear them come before this commission and present where they are, what stage they're at, and the deadlines they believe that is going to be met, so that we can make sure we're communicating that as a body to JLAC, to our representatives, because we do have that December 31st deadline. That's all I'm going to say on that, Mr. Mayor, because I know that's part of your oversight update. But we need to hear, this commission needs to hear from the auditors and the firm that is doing the work to see where they are in the process. Yeah, we need to do that. We need to do that. The third thing is the procurement process. I am still, and I've been back here now almost a year, trying to understand this procurement process here in the city. It has so many moving parts till I'm still trying to figure it out. So what I want to request via the manager's office, and all of us can get it, a detailed statement, memo, whatever, of the procurement process and how people get paid from A to Z. We've heard a lot sometimes about the state approving, and I'm not talking about expedited things. I'm just saying the normal process for procurement. Because what I don't like is when we're trying to secure vendors for events, for support, for things we're trying to do, and to hear, I haven't gotten paid, I'm trying to get paid, I'm waiting, so forth and so on. And then when you call the procurement process, it's a step here, it's a step there, waiting on this, we're trying to do that. So I want to know clearly what that process is in black and white from A to Z, including the portion which we don't have any control over, the state approving it. But I want to know what that is and what it looks like. So I want to get it in black and white before I move any further or any kind of legislation and thing like that. I'm putting those things out there tonight in this meeting. And as I said at the last meeting, I will see what occurs. If it doesn't get better, then I'll move to the next step I need to move to. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Commissioner Kelly, no problem. As we move on to the financial oversight update provided by the city manager.
Thank you. And I will turn over the floor to our Director of Finance, Ms. Naima Walker, and we also have a representative from the internal audit company to answer any questions that the commission may have and also to provide an update.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Naima Walker, Director of Finance. I have with me our lead on the internal accounting team that the city recently procured for assistance in getting our financials prepared for external audit by Markham LLP. I'll turn the floor over to Mr. Enrique for any questions you may have specifically to their process and where we are.
Perfect. Thank you very much. For the record, my name is Enrique Llerena and I'm managing partner at CFLG. I guess I'd like to start with those specific questions that you'd like to go over. Or would you like me to just give you a brief overview of where we stand? Yes. Okay.
We have a lot of questions.
Okay. So we began our procedures. We received the trial balance. Unfortunately, with the transition from the previous firm, none of the completed documentation that they had prepared and the schedules that they had prepared as part of their process to deliver the information to Markham, that information is no longer available to the city and has not yet been provided. So we basically had to come in and.
1 second, Mr. Manager, can we get the mic to be turned up, please?
Yes, Mr. Walker, could you increase the volume on the mic, please? Thank you. Could you, Mr. Enrique, could you speak
Yes,
directly?
I'll get closer to the mic.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. So the prior service provider did not provide the documentation that they prepared to the city in terms of concluding the procedures that they performed. So when we came in, we started from scratch. We obtained the trial balance. We had to understand how your information flowed. We were reviewing all the transactions that came in. So we started that process. We're working our way through the revenues, moving on to the expenditures and building the schedules. Now, I want to specifically address the dates because this is not a situation where we don't have a completed product until December 15th or January 15th or February 15th. What's happening is this is a fluid process where as adjustments are being prepared, the internal financials are being updated. So internal drafts can be generated and provided. In terms of the external audit, I can't speak for Markham, but the way those procedures work is there's a planning phase and there's a field work phase. So I'm performing the procedures, lining up with their internal deliverables and being able to provide them what they need to do. So as we are completing things, they can do what they need to do. Markham has not started, as far as I'm aware, has not started the planning phase, but they have provided the request of the information that they need, and we're working to prepare that information and provide it to them.
That was the end of the presentation?
That's a 10,000 foot view of where we stand. I'd like to get into specifics so we can address the questions. that you
Okay,
have.
here's the conundrum. We were giving a December 31st date or else for the city of Opa-locka. And many different dates have been presented before this body. We just want a definite date as to when it will be submitted.
When you say it will be submitted.
The audit.
Okay, so the audit is dependent on two factors. One, us completing our procedures, and two, the external auditor performing their audit. So the timing, typically what happens is when you have a finished, completed trial balance, from inception of an audit to completion and delivery is between 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the flow of information. What I'm trying to do is facilitate to do this in phases so they can start completing their milestones so these things happen at the same time. Our internal goal is to have a completed trial balance in December. They're going to start their preliminary analytics, doing the things that they need to do. The audit will already be ongoing, and we're trying to stay on target with the deadlines that we discussed. When we first started talking about this process, there was a month delay from when we started to when we wanted to start because of contract approval and the things that happened. That shifts everything 30 days. And that was reflected in the timeline that we provided. The timeline that we provided is still the timeline that we mentioned, and we're going to adhere to that. And there's any change to that.
And what's that timeline?
Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Kelly.
While they're trying to figure it out, the timeline for the submission of I believe what he's referencing was January 31st or something like that. It was the end of
It-
January.
December 15th was the goal to give a fully adjusted trial balance. When we provide the fully adjusted trial balance, Markham begins their process, and then the questions start. And the verification starts. I'm confident that when their question starts, we'll be able to answer them, and there shouldn't be any adjustments.
So this process is not working in tandem with Markham?
It is. I'm in constant communication with Markham. What happens is they start their planning procedures and then the fieldwork phase begins. They send their confirmations, they verify, they look at your capital asset roll forward, your debt roll forward. The audit has to happen. As the audit happens, they may question some of the information that's there. We'll be there to answer their questions and walk them through every adjustment that was reported and show them how everything works. So once we provide a completed trial balance, we're your internal team. We provide a completed product, then they audit and verify that that product is accurate. They're the external auditors.
Mr. Mayor.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Kelly.
So your presentation that you gave has not changed.
No,
The timeline has not changed.
no. December 15th is the goal to have the completed trial balance. And then their audit begins.
No, your PowerPoint that was done gave a January total completion of what you do. Or your firm or company does, and then Markham does whatever.
No.
They have to do.
It happens,
because
no,
now we're
no,
saying
no, no,
December
that happens,
15th.
that happens at the same, it's a cohesive process. So as soon as, when I give that final trial balance, December 15th, Markham starts their audit and they're going to have questions and we're going to be building a financial statement that they need to review. And there's constant communication that happens throughout the process. So it's not that we're done and we pass the ball to them. Like this happens at the same time. We work together to get this done. So we provide the information, they verify and then give us their questions. Ultimately, the conclusion is the final issued financial statements that has been reviewed, that has been prepared by us and reviewed by Markham.
Okay, and I understand all of that. Appreciate you letting the community know. My question was simple. Your PowerPoint that you gave a January ending date for your part, not what Markham's going to do, not working in tandem for whatever you're going to be doing. You will be totally finished in January. So you're saying now it's not January, it's actually going to be December 15th.
No, when I give the completed trial balance, when I give the complete trial balance to Markham so they can start their audit, my focus then is to work on the financial statements and get that done. I think I'm going to be done with everything January 15th.
Okay, stop right there. Okay, so it wasn't 30th, it's January 15th. I know it's a January date that I saw on the paper. If I'd have known you were coming, I would have brought it with me. But I guess since I put it on the agenda, you're here. That's a good thing. So January 15th is your focus or your deadline that you believe you will have whatever your whole portion done.
Yes,
January 15th.
correct.
Okay, and so what I'm getting at is the same thing, Mr. Mayor, that the December 31st is the deadline to have it submitted. So since we're doing a very aggressive, working in tandem, everything is together. I got that. Hopefully everything's gonna move smoothly. You'll answer the questions. So based on that, and you can't speak for Markham, I guess the question I'm asking, or the mayor, you know, this is your, let me just back up. Let me just listen. That's the kind of question I have. Mr. Mayor, I'll defer to you.
I'm gonna just complete his question. He was gonna ask you, when will Markham be done? I think that's what we all want to know.
Okay, so I can't speak for Markham, but 10,000 foot view, a financial audit typically takes 6 to 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks from having a finished trial balance. So if I give them a December 15th trial balance, 6 to 8 weeks from there should be done. Could it be done in 6? Maybe, but I can't commit to that timeline for them.
Which will take us into when the next audit is due. In March.
Correct. What's the difference? The difference.
We're on the financial oversight.
No, I understand.
Oh.
The difference is, as soon as these procedures are done, we have a base, we have a process. Every adjustment that we're analyzing now, we're doing the groundwork so that the next fiscal year that needs to get addressed, we already know what those cutoff transactions at the beginning are. We don't have that right now because you don't have the information that your prior service provider had.
Can I ask a question? Why don't you, I'm sorry. Why don't you have that information?
That's a great question.
Perhaps I can offer an answer. The files were utilized, stored, viewed, updated, saved in a common place. The morning after that commission meeting where Mr. Brunson attended and spoke at this podium, the morning after, that file drive was deactivated and removed. So the totality of our documents that we created and shared updated, saved in that common space, the entire drive is gone.
But
And I emailed asking for access to the drive again or the actual files and folders more than twice in writing. I have not gotten a response.
That was gonna be my next question, being that they were on contract, Mr.
We
Manager.
pay,
haven't-
yeah,
That's our.
that's
property,
ours,
right?
it belongs to us.
So, may I?
Yeah, you start. I'm
So
sorry.
that is hindering the process, correct?
It is.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mayor,
Um,
there is kind of an, I guess, an additional wrinkle to that is that that contract was actually never signed. So I don't know, what they would claim because although it was approved, it doesn't appear as though it was ever signed.
but it was, all right, Madam Vice Mayor, I'm sorry. Okay, so my only concern and question to the manager, and I think I raised this the last time, that we are in contact with JLAC and that we also provide JLAC with an updated timeline of when we expect from our internal auditor, from them, so that they know that we're moving. That's the only thing that I'm requesting.
Yes, the answer is still the same as the last. We are in constant communication with JLAG. They are comfortable with our progress and where we're at. They have been updated with the December 15th timeframe and and they are aware that the 6 to 8 weeks additional that Markham's going to require. In fact, we had asked if they wanted us to, the city of Opa-locka, to come and do a physical presentation as they just had a committee.
Continue, Mr. Manager.
They had, in fact, JLAG just had a committee meeting and we asked if they would like the city of Opa-locka to come and present and physically or even by Zoom to answer any questions directly. And they said that that would not be necessary.
All right, okay, and I'm still on what I said before, Mr. Manager, please provide the commission with weekly updates on this process so that we are in the know and we can answer questions that come up to from the community as well as outside. Any other questions to the auditor,
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly?
I think there are a couple of things we need to look at, and I guess it's not the forum, but since it's been stated that something is missing that should have been there, it's also been stated, was no contract. So I think that's since you're the mayor, I'll let you take the lead on that, but I want to get to the bottom of that as well. The other thing is, I heard the presentation, but I always like black and white. So I'd like to know whoever we're communicating with. I like the response that they gave to us. They're aware and they are comfortable with the timeline, so we can get that in writing from whomever, so they can be communicated to our state rep, our state senator, and all those folks on the committee that you all met with or talked to a while back. They were very adamant in making sure that we meet this deadline, so there are no surprises. So I'd like to get that in black and white as well. I know you traveled to Tallahassee, the manager did, so you all talked to those folks in person. So I'd like to get that in black and white, that they are comfortable where we are. They are aware of the December 15th deadline. And what I didn't hear yet was we're not going to get any penalties or penalized. That's what I didn't hear. As a result, because it's obvious we're not going to be finished to have a completed product turned into them by December 31st. So if they are comfortable, if they are okay to know that, I'd definitely like to get that in writing, so that would take a little of the pressure off of all of us knowing we have that hard deadline that they've given. So if that's the case, Mr. Mayor, to the manager, I'd like to get that in black and white so we will know and they will know, and our state reps, state senators, folks on the board that y'all met with, talked to, that, were kind of adamant. I mean, when you came back, they're very adamant. That was a hard deadline. No more excuses, no more whatever. City of Opa-locka, you got to do what you got to do to get this done. So if they are amenable, I'm grateful to hear that, but I just want to make sure, because it's very clear the audit itself is not going to be finished by December 31st. And I appreciate you working hard, trying to move as fast as you can to get it done because you do see the urgency. But we are where we are. So, Mr. Mayor, I'll leave it in your hands. Thank you.
I'm done. Thank you. And Mr. Manager, I just will say, I asked about this last meeting about the local financial oversight, which our local state officials sit on. They have yet to meet. And I know that we said that we was waiting on a board clerk, but this is our way of letting them know what's going on in the city of Opa-locka. This presentation should be done in front of them as well. So please let me know when we can schedule that meeting.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going into, do we have any official board appointments? Okay, hearing none. All right,
Mr. Mayor, before you conclude, there is something I need to correct for the record. So one of the issues that you asked about previously had to do with whether you could make a motion from the floor to direct the city manager to do something. And so one of the things that I had in mind had been something dealing with, it's a section that says, except for the purposes of inquiries and investigations made in good faith in accordance with. So with a resolution adopted by the commission, I've been thinking of that, but it actually relates to an interference clause in the charter. So it does appear that you could do that. Now, I will say that I would advise against resolutions in general coming from the floor. That's why you have a process for doing them. But in cases, you do see city commissions doing it when there's a case of an emergency situation, or there may be something that you cannot deal with before. They're normally issues that are not controversial in nature, you know, those kind of things. So I just say, just so everybody knows, you don't want to do it as a regular routine basis, which you all don't do, but you're not prohibited from doing it. And I mixed that up with a different section. So for that, I apologize. And I just wanted to put it on the
that's
record.
fine. I knew what I was doing, and I was specifically talking about what took place tonight. I wanted him to respond to the citizens forum issues that were brought up tonight, because those have rolled over from meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting. So by now I felt that we should have the answer, but you said we couldn't do it at the time, and you corrected the record.
So you can't do it.
Moving on.
You can't do it
Well,
from the-
you can. I was thinking about a different section. I would not, you know, it's not the way that you want to operate, you know, without a resolution that comes before the body that is noticed properly and all of that. But when there are occasions where city commissions do that without an ordinance or a resolution or something like that. I just wanted to correct that. I was mixing it up with something else and thought that it was prohibited, but it's not strictly prohibited. It's just that I'm saying it's not encouraged. So if you all did that in the future, it's not prohibited. And I just want to put that on the record so it's clear.
It's fine, Madam Attorney. Like I said, I believe in good faith that the manager will respond to those citizens that have brought those issues that have rolled over from meeting to meeting to meeting. So we're going to motion to adjourn.
Move it.
Move for adjournment. Thank you. Second, this meeting is adjourned.